This session is a little bit of sadism on the part of Steffi and the DLD crew. I get a cold sweat when I go into a store. I hate shopping, and I love shopping online. Cyriac and Shopkick, if you don't know, is a fantastic mobile app that you bring with you before, during, and after a visit to a store to sort of help you in the sales and acquisition process, which I avoid by doing it online when I'm home. But anyway, he's a hometown German hero, went to California, and I think I'll let him, I wanted to just start by saying he'd had done a bunch of companies, was an entrepreneur in residence at Kleiner Perkins, which I'm sure you all know, and in 2008, he sat down, and how many ideas did you look at while coming up with Shopkick?
I looked at about 150 ideas.
All mobile?
All mobile. In fact, I think I went through 5,000 business plans in total and looked at 150 more in a more detailed fashion. And that was because, for two reasons. The first one was I had a lot of time because the day I joined Kleiner Perkins was also the day Lehman Brothers went belly up. It was the beginning of the Great Recession. Nobody wanted to fund anything anymore. And funding froze to a halt.
Oh, so an entrepreneur in residence does not come with funding, it just comes with...
No, an entrepreneur in residence means here's an office, sit in it, come out when you have an idea.
Okay.
And essentially that's what I tried to do, and I was actually wondering why they even let me sit in that office, because nobody got funded anyway. It was the beginning of the end of the world, basically, and so that was one reason. The other reason was that I had been in mobile for so long already. At the time, this was in 2008, I'd already done 9 years of mobile. And so I got pretty jaded about what mobile ideas would work and which ones wouldn't. And so I had a very, very dense filter.
Right.
And most of the ideas didn't fulfill the most important criterion I was looking for.
Which was?
Which was, would this idea work nicely without a cell phone? And if the answer was yes, I would toss it. I would pass on it.
Without a cell phone, meaning of any kind, or?
Yeah, in other words, if this idea would work on a desktop, I would pass on it.
I see.
So the idea was I was looking for an idea that would make absolutely no sense without a phone.
And so how do you describe the idea, the initial idea that you came up with? What was the one-line pitch in your funding meetings?
The one-line pitch was, what would you feel if you walked into a store and simply for being there, without having to buy a thing, you would already be rewarded?
Did you have to check in?
You just walk through the door and for
not even a check-in?
Nothing. Okay. Just for walking through the door without doing anything.
And what do you get?
You would already earn kicks, which is like a currency of virtual rewards.
Kind of loyalty point.
Yeah, you would just walk in and get rewarded just for being present. That was like impossible. And the interesting thing about it...
What kind of a phone were you targeting at this time? And people didn't have smartphones, did they?
Well, any form of smartphone. The iPhone was in its iPhone 1 release. There were no apps yet. Apps were actually just starting. The App Store had begun in July of 2008. Right. I joined Kleiner Perkins in September.
Okay.
So it was 2 months after the App Store had opened.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was trying to convince people that smartphones were going to be important pretty quickly.
What was Apple's view of you guys?
Well, we were part of the iFund, which Kleiner Perkins had with Apple, $200 million venture initiative. And we were part of that, and so that was very helpful. Apple therefore took time to look at it, gave us really valuable feedback, and it was a great partnership.
Now, I was surprised to find out that GPS isn't good enough to just do that simple little thing that you just described to me.
That simple little thing is really, really complicated,
okay.
Actually. So just knowing that you walk through this door in this room is really hard, actually. It's really difficult. So, for example, if you use GPS, you would know that you're in the block of the Bayerischer Hof, which is like a block away. It's this block that we're on. That's about the accuracy you can get, especially when you launch an app and you don't have 2 minutes time to wait for the exact GPS fix. All you get is a radius of somewhere between 50 to 500 meters. That's all you get.
In a shopping mall is useless.
And in a shopping mall, it's useless because there's a roof, there's no satellite connectivity. It's even worse.
Okay.
So that doesn't work. Now, if you use the newest technologies, like Bluetooth Low Energy, you also don't know that somebody's in a store because the signal bleeds through the wall. It's a radio frequency signal. That doesn't work either. So we thought about, like, what in the world can we possibly do? And so I still don't know why Kleiner Perkins, I'm still amazed and grateful at the same time that they financed us, because at the time we didn't have a solution for this problem. We called it the threshold problem. So we knew that we needed to know that you crossed a threshold of a store. The retail people call that the lease line. That's when they start paying, right? But we had no idea how to do this. So then we sat down and we basically went through every sensor of the phone. Like, we were thinking about, okay, the compass. Can the compass help us? Which direction of the Earth are you walking in? Well, it's maybe a little bit too far away. And then we thought about, what about the other technology in here, like GPS? Okay, GPS can't do it. And then we thought about the gyrometer, like the moving of the phone. Maybe that could help us. And all of this went for nothing. And then we had one idea, which I still find interesting, but it's simply impossible to do for other reasons, which is the idea of degrading Wi-Fi signals as you walk into a store. Or degrading cell signals as you walk into a store because the signal gets weaker. The problem is the data isn't available. It doesn't get passed on to you in the granularity you need. And so we were basically left with one single sensor that we hadn't thought about yet. And that was the microphone. The microphone. We thought, okay, well, that's interesting. What could we do with a microphone? Could there be some kind of, could we recognize the sound in the store? And, nightmare. Of course, you don't know which song is playing at what time. And then we thought, okay, so what if it was a sound you couldn't hear at all? And so we ended up with ultrasound. And so we created a technology which we have patents for and filed all over the place. We basically said, we are going to create a signal that has a unique code embedded in it at 21,000 hertz, above the range of human hearing. And inside the signal is a different code embedded for every store. And so we know exactly which store you're at, even in a mall where there's no GPS at all.
Let me jump this forward now. So when were you talking to the stores before you even had that, or did you wait to have that?
We talked to the stores before we had that.
Before you had, so you would say by magic you would be able to know.
Yes, and we had some theories, as I mentioned.
What was the first store you landed?
The very first one was Best Buy.
Best Buy.
Best Buy. And I remember this very vividly.
And a national deployment?
No, this was a local trial.
Okay.
We had to prove our case. We had to prove, the retailer called that incrementality. It basically means, are people buying more with Shopkick than they did without Shopkick?
Okay, then let's roll two sets of numbers. Number of stores that you were deployed in over 4 years,
right,
and number of customers who are using the app over 4 years.
Right, so we're now at 10,000 large stores in America. Okay. We are the most widely used shopping app in the United States, according to
How many users?
We have 7 million users. And it's interesting.
How do you define a user? Once a month, something?
No, they actually use the app continuously. And so the interesting thing about...
If they set foot in stores, see, I'd never show up.
Well, that's exactly what we're changing. So our dream is to make you go to the store, basically, and turn the experience into such a good experience that Spencer shows up at Best Buy or Macy's and loves it.
How do you make my experience better? What do you do to make it?
So here's the vision, like the dream of this whole thing is basically to say the physical world matters. And whether we like it or not, or whether we believe in it as, the digital people, we're the digital people, right? Here's the thing, you're actually a physical person. So you live in the physical world.
Some people are working on it, but anyway.
Some people are working on trying to become like digital, but I doubt they will succeed. So in other words, you continue living in the physical world. And here's an interesting stat for you. The physical shopping world is 12 times larger in revenue than the online shopping world. And in 2017, it is expected that it will be 85% physical and 15% digital, and right now it's 90% physical and 10% digital. So in other words, while e-commerce is growing, it's a $300 billion market in the US, well, offline shopping is $3.2 trillion in the US, and that is basically growing at a rate.
So back to my question, so what do you do to make me actually like going to the store?
What we are trying to do is put the digital layer on top of the physical world. What if you walk into the store and it welcomes you? It knows it's Spencer. What if it shows you an item you might want to look at? What if there's
How does it know?
Well, because you've used the app, you've told us what you like. You might even be at home using Shopkick, liking a sweater, a black sweater.
Right.
And then you get to the store and it reminds you that you wanted to look at this black
So
sweater
somehow
here at
the
Target.
shop owner has some kind of a dashboard or whatever. He can put his inventory in there so that it knows.
Sort of. We do that, but yes. So essentially, you can browse the app at home.
Right.
We have 1 billion product views a quarter in the app. And people look at the offers, and then they like it. You press a heart button. You like
They
the
might
black
do
sweater.
that before they go shopping.
Before they go shopping, they're preparing the trip. You like the black sweater. Then you walk into Macy's. The moment you enter Macy's, it says, "Welcome to Macy's. You got 50 kicks, Spencer. Welcome."
What's a kick worth roughly? What
Well,
can I get with 50 kicks?
Well, let's say, if you go to a store 4 or 5 times and scan a few items, you will
every
walk out-
time you scan something, you get more.
If you scan products, you get more. You walk out with a $25 gift certificate for dinner of your choice.
You have to worry about people going in and just kind of randomly scanning things and then saying, "Give me dinner."
Some people love that. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters is whether people buy
Because
more.
the retailer is actually paying for those points. He's
The
paying.
retailer and the brands. And in the end of the day,
That's how you make money, right?
that's right. At the end of the day, it matters whether you buy more on average.
So when I scan, a little kaching goes and Shopkick gets some money.
That's right. Let me give you, if you want to understand financials, there's a simple example that illustrates the point. So imagine you're a department store, and the average basket size is $80, right? The margin is about, 40%, like $32. If we give you 50 cents for walking in, and let's say you're trying to game the system. You come 5 times and don't buy anything, yeah? You come in, get your kicks, are happy and walk. The 6th time you buy something, right?
Right.
Well, then we've spent $3 on you. The additional gross margin was $32. And that's why this business model is beautiful.
Okay.
It works really well.
So how much stuff have you moved? What's your number for how much sales you've encouraged?
Last year, Shopkick drove about $500 million in revenue for our partners. $500 million. The year before was about 200 million. The year before was about 110.
So doubling or so every year.
Right. It's an explosive experience. It's crazy.
Unfortunately, here in Europe, we can't do this, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Why?
Well, our belief is that you have to get the consumer experience right before you go international. Okay. And it is a very difficult process to understand this digital layer on top of the physical world.
Have you got Spanish?
What was that?
Is it in Spanish?
Not yet. The other thing is the technology. Like, you can't do this with BLE. You can't do this with barcodes. It doesn't work. You need the ultrasound technology. You need to perfect it. And the combination of Bluetooth Low Energy and ultrasound is awesome. But
what's the beacon thing?
Not.
We've been hearing a little bit about beacon. I think Apple made an announcement or something. What is that, and how does that play into your...
Shopkick created something called Shop Beacon, which is essentially a mass retailer-capable solution for presence detection and for offer management and so on. So essentially, think about it in a simple term. There are 2 devices. There's a device that's at the entrance that's called the Shop Beacon Hybrid. You place it there. It has the ultrasound signal, but it also has Bluetooth Low Energy and iBeacon signals coming out of it. For very quick summary, iBeacon is not a new technology. It's a new protocol. It's like a TCP/IP on the internet. That's what iBeacon is to Bluetooth Low Energy. It runs on Bluetooth Low Energy. So this iBeacon technology is part of Shop Beacon. The whole Shop Beacon thing runs on ultrasound and Bluetooth Low Energy. It's combined in one. And the advantages of each technology are basically used, and the downsides of each technology are being suppressed. That's why the hybrid is very useful.
Is there some way, like, let's say I'm a fantastic customer of luxury store and I spend tens of thousands of dollars a month.
Right.
Is there a way for the store to have a special little alert that I've just come in and they can send some human over to shake my hand and say, "Welcome back, sir"? Is that
the only way this will ever happen with Shopkick is if you ask for it.
personal help?
If you asked for it. We will never betray the privacy of the user.
So you guys
We're not passing individual data on to the retailer.
But if I were a retailer, I'd love to know if my best customer just walked through the door.
Of course you would.
But you don't want...
if that customer wouldn't want that, then that's not the right thing in the long run. And it will actually backfire in the long run. If you are asking for it, and Spencer...
How would I do that?
Well, you can't do that yet, but this is the digital layer. You remember you asked, like, what can I do to make it better? We stopped in the middle. So there is, like, the recommendation thing. There is the physical store becoming an interactive experience. There's the VIP service. There's the idea of being rewarded. There's the idea of ordering in the store. There's all kinds of things that have to be built. We're just at the beginning of the whole story. So we have tons of work.
So there's a chance someday I might actually want to go shopping?
And that is my dream. So
Okay.
we will not stop until we have that.
On that cheerful note, we are out of time. believe
Okay,
it or not.
that was quick.
But thank you. I mean, anybody have a quick question? A very quick one? Right there. I'll repeat it. Or here's a mic. Okay.
Hi. There are some countries and some markets which have, they've been slow in going to the online retail sector. Do you see these as opportunities, maybe for the future?
Online, you say?
Yeah, like they
Slow online.
exactly. They haven't gone the whole,
Right.
internet usage isn't that high, or
Right.
people just don't trust the online system.
Yeah, so online is definitely an interesting part of the vision of being a multi-channel, omni-channel experience across any platform. And I don't know if you know this, but in Shopkick you can already buy today directly from your couch if you want to. We've already launched that. So you can also do
You
that if you
specify
like.
a retailer and specify a product.
Yeah, you see a product you like, you press buy, and that's it. You can do that. And I don't believe...
You get points?
Of course you do. Always get kicks. But I don't believe that will be the biggest part of the business. The biggest part is the physical world. And that's what's the exciting piece. And that's the future. I would go so far as to say the future of online is in offline.
Well, that's the wearables thesis as well. Part
Yes,
of it. Yeah,
that's
okay.
right.
Thank you for being. Okay, one more quick. We'll waste everybody's time. Here we go. We do? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So anybody who wants to get coffee, go get it, and otherwise stay here.
Great. Hi, I'm Arash from Contigua, and I was wondering. Now you're in retail. Now you're in retail. Do you see yourself expanding to other offline businesses, like local businesses? FM's, food and beverage, or
Right.
personal services?
Great question. So the answer is whatever fits into the shopping trip of a consumer. We're a consumer company. Everything starts with a person. So think of yourself. You might want to get a coffee. You might want to have something to eat. You might want to start a haircut. I didn't think that. Or you might want to stop by, to get some ice cream or whatever you want. That is part of your shopping trip. So whatever fits into that, yes. Whatever doesn't fit into that, no. Because you need to have focus as an entrepreneur. Yes.
Okay, one back there.
Let's guess I have $1,000 in kicks. Yes?
Yes.
From some
That's
specific
a
store.
good amount to have, yes.
And I go to Best Buy, and I want to buy something of $75.
Yes.
Could I buy it full with kicks?
Yes, of course.
So how would Best Buy pay taxes for such a sale? Will it?
I will pay Best Buy taxes for such.
Yes. Or how do they pay taxes, given they used some kind of
Oh, I understand the question.
kick in exchange of money?
So very simple. This is like a gift card. In fact, it is. It doesn't matter. It's currency. So essentially what happens is you open the Shopkick app, you go to the rewards mall, you press the Best Buy gift card, you tap on it, I want to have it, it turns into a digital gift card on the fly in an instant. It's all immediate gratification. There's no physical card. And then you enter it into the POS system, either by scanning or by a code that gets redeemed, and the taxes are paid out of that.
I get to ask another question. Brands, do you have any relationship, with Sony? I mean, where they could, across all your stores,
Yes.
promote Sony things?
Yes, we do. So with Sony is a good example in the sense that they are also a retail partner. Mm-hmm. But we have 150 brand partners: Procter & Gamble, Disney, L'Oreal, Unilever, General Mills, basically Pepsi, all the largest brands. And you can scan the barcode of a product in the store and get extra rewards for that. That really only works
That's
well.
on top of the store.
That's right. On top of the store, the brands pay for it. But that only really works if you have the walk-in rewards. If you sort of try to do this at stores where you don't have walk-in rewards, you get a very insignificant number of scans.
Would you do a promotion on the, if the guy's sitting at home, would you do a Sony promotion in that kind of context? Do you do that as well?
Yeah, you can do that as well. The couch experience on Shopkick is becoming more and more engaging as well.
So you're getting into what amounts to the advertising business.
That's very true. In fact, if you think about it from a brand perspective, it is fascinating because they had no chance to reach you in all these different situations before. Right. And now, this is the most interesting thing about this model that I find really beautiful is that retailers and brands used to be antagonists. There was a lot of friction, right? Now, in Shopkick, we're actually combining that into a win-win situation. You get way more scans if you have walk-in rewards, if the store offers them. If the store offers them and their scan rewards, they sell even more. So they bring even more people through the door.
If I'm sitting on the couch and I poke a Sony product, who gets the sale? How do you decide which store? I mean, it might be sold in 10...
Oh, that depends on where that product is featured from. It's only attached to one store.
It's only attached to one store.
Only attached to one store. So that way it's automatically decided.
Got it. Okay, looks like we got a couple more here. Yep.
Mobile shopping started a few years ago. I mean, when I talked to companies that had both a mobile shopping app and an e-commerce platform, they had the big issue that the conversion rate was on the mobile was like 1%, while it was online up to 10%. So they were really saying 1 or 2 years ago, it's not converting online. People look at the products, they look on the iPad, they look on the smartphone, but then they go still back on the notebook and shop online. So how did you figure out that, and how did you solve that? And you think it was just that people were not used to that and now it's getting automatically, or did you do something much different or special to that?
This is a great question. In fact, it goes to the very core of what Shopkick is about. So, in a nutshell, the conversion rates in the online world are usually, for most websites, between 0.5% to 3%. Some websites are killing it. They reach 8%. They usually never top 10.
Perhaps one with a name that starts with A?
With an A, and the other one with an E. And they top like 8%, and they're like heroes on the block. In the mobile world, mobile commerce is even lower. You mentioned that. In the physical world, conversion rates from walking into the store to buying are between 20 to 95%, depending on the category of retail. It's 20% in fashion. They think they're terrible, and yet they're 40x better than their online friends. In the electronics world, it's 50%, and in groceries, it's 95%. And in quick service restaurants, it's 99% because you don't go to McDonald's and figure out you're not hungry. So in other words, if you can only get them through the door of the store, you stand a very good chance of making a sale. And so we asked a simple question. If foot traffic is the #1 problem of every retailer in the world, then how come no one ever rewards anybody for visiting a store? Why only for purchases? Why not for visits? I find it so weird that you walk into a store, they don't even know you're there, right? When do they find out it's you?
Actually, some old retailers have like little bits of candy on the front or something.
Right,
you can go
and then they know somebody liked candy. They don't know it's Spencer.
Right.
They have no idea it's you. So 100 years ago, if you had gone shopping in an old private store, they would have greeted you by name and said, "Hi, Spencer, how are you today?" And, you know, "Did you like the cereal you bought last week?"
Right.
And nowadays, they don't even know you're there.
Right.
And so when you walk to the register and you finally swipe your card, they say, "Hi, Spencer, welcome." And you say, "Yes, bye." And so basically they say hello when you leave, and it's a little awkward.
Anybody? There was another? Yeah.
Hi, I've been approached by diverse new startups that want to use the iBeacon technology in shops to either, give bonus points for people visiting the shops, but also, to have merchants show the right products in the shops. And you were just indicating that it will be hard to offer some kind of a Shopkick product in other countries like Germany. Is there a specific reason why iBeacon technology or things like that couldn't be applied in the European Union, or?
No, there's no reason why you couldn't apply it in the European Union. What I was saying was two things. A is, Spencer was asking why is it not here yet? Why didn't we come yet? There's two reasons. One is the consumer experience is absolutely critical, and we're a consumer company. So we are revamping our app all the time. The app you're seeing right now is not the app that will be live in half a year from today. We're already working on the next generation. And the app that was live half a year ago is no longer live now. So in other words, we are getting this right. We're trying to nail the consumer experience. The second thing is the technology is really complicated. Without ultrasound, you really can't do this. And we are optimizing that. And the third part is you need all these partnerships to make it work. And so we're getting this right, and then we have a lot of interest from Europe and from Asia, and so we would love to do this at some point. It's just a matter of when.
Okay, I have another one. What's it called? Showcasing, where people go and check something out in a store and then they go home and buy it online?
Yeah, showrooming. So showrooming is the ultimate nightmare of a retailer. You basically only use the physical store as a room to check out a product, and then you check it online where it's the cheapest and buy it from there. Sorry. That is a...
Hold on, here.
Sorry. So that is a problem for retailers, because for them that's the ultimate nightmare that you're just using their store as a showroom. And Shopkick has changed this in the sense that you're actually now walking into the store, you're checking out the store, you're using the app because it's useful, and therefore you're not using comparison shopping apps, so it's actually very helpful for them.
But you are rewarding me for showrooming.
But we are rewarding you for showrooming, but then also buying it at their store. So that is a big advantage for them.
So in other words, the theory is that if they have your app open, they won't have Amazon's app open.
And they don't have Amazon's app open. The other thing is, Shopkick is also about making the experience better. And it's a big topic. Retailers have no personalized experience when you walk into the store. And the mobile phone is the only medium that you have with you that makes it personalized. It is your own phone. So what if the Best Buy becomes your Best Buy? And you can walk around and it's your store.
If I were a consumer and I wanted to buy a pair of running shoes, I might appreciate a comparison feature where I could compare. I walked into the mall and I want to know which store has the thing I want at the lowest price. Would you ever do anything like that, or would your retailers freak out about it?
No, ultimately, our goal is to make shopping a better experience. So we are basically in the middle between retailers, brands, and consumers. We have no interest in simply doing things that hurt one party, but at the same time, we also want to make the experience better. So our dream of this, or our perspective on this topic, is that showrooming is interesting for consumers who are solely focused on price. But there's also something about experiencing the store better, most people actually want to find a good price, not necessarily the rock bottom lowest price on the entire web. They just want to know they didn't get ripped off. And Shopkick should help with that. So in that sense, yes.
Anybody else? On that cheerful note, we are timed. Oh, wait. No, sorry. Okay. Okay. One more, and then we are free.
Are these kicks transferable? Can you send it to your kid? I mean, I shop, my kids shops, and
No, they're not transferable, because if you did that, then you could have huge clusters that actually don't drive incremental sales. So no, you can't transfer them. They're your own. There might be a moment in time when we allow you to transfer a small amount, like airlines do, but not the entire amount.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Thank you all. Thank you, Cyriac.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Cheers. Okay.